What if I told you you can get the best insight, a fly on the wall experience of my record collecting, the music that I find, music that I'm into, whether it's music from the past or modern day, new releases, new artists, musicians, things that I'm generally into, you get to hear it first on a monthly basis. Okay, let me rephrase that. So I've been thinking that with my recent video, doing the review and looking over the past year, truth be told, I found that hard to do. It was so hard because the sheer amount of music that I kind of forgotten about. And now when I look at that video, I almost feel like it's not a true representation. There's so much stuff I left out, it's just ridiculous. Wouldn't it be good if I could just do this on a monthly basis? Because there's some nice music that I discover, music that I'm into, and sometimes I don't get the time or opportunity to share it properly. I do my best to share here on the channel with you guys, and I want you all to get the best insight, the stuff that I'm into, but also, you know, putting the limelight on people who are on the podcast as well, the Studio Funk podcast as well, most importantly. But I think it'd be nice to have a dedicated time and place where I could share the music, which is currently in heavy rotation. So without further ado, we're not going to waste no time. We're going to get into it right now, and let's go through some nice selections. Okay, let's start this off, and we're going to get into something very good. This is an amazing record, and I have to say, as of recording this, I've just acquired it within the last week, so this is super fresh, and this comes by a fantastic group called TAMTAM. Japanese group here who've released this fantastic album / EP on one of my favorite labels, PPU, People's Potential Unlimited, coming out of Washington DC. But yeah, we got this fantastic album here, which is really good. Just to top it off here, I'll just explain what you can expect here from this particular album. It's a nice 4-piece group which doing a lot of synth pop here, almost like city pop, Japanese soul. It's quite a mixture of things really, and sometimes it can feel like alternative. It's quite a mixture bag. But I do want to say that this definitely requires your full attention and for you to listen to in your own time and go through it, because every track on here is so good. It's amazing, really good. From the first track, we got Doors, which is an amazing track, and it really sets a tone of the album of what you could expect. And as you start going through it, you start understanding the flavor and the taste, what's going on here. The arrangements are like truly amazing, out of this world. And just to highlight here, the title track, Ramble in the Rainbow, is a great track, which gives you a good cover and understanding of what the album is about. Yeah, just to go through some of the tracks here, we got the track called New, we got a track called Distant Look that wraps up the album really well. And yeah, it's just incredible. The arrangements, the synths on here, the drums, the sense of obviously the band, live percussion, it's magic, you know, and it's just another great example of some of the great music coming out of Japan at the moment. To me, it feels like one of the best albums I've picked up in a while. And it's quite weird for me to say that because, you know, I listen to quite a bit of music, and every now and then I'll get an album and I'm like, oh, this is the best album I've heard in a while. And it always hits in that kind of note. But this really does feel nice. It feels fresh. It feels unique. It feels quite refreshing as well when you listen to it. It almost sounds like nothing else. It's quite hard to explain. It feels very unique in that sense. Now, when talking about PPU, People Potential Unlimited, it actually reminds me of a release that came out quite a while ago when they released this album called Wool and the Pants, which is coming from a Japanese group as well, which is a quite obscure group. But it definitely reminds me of that kind of note where it's like a group you're not aware of that kind of comes out of nowhere, but to surprise you, it like hits notes all the way, and it's like has a quite nice desired taste to it as well. I know here on Studio Funk, I do have quite a bit of following coming out of Japan as well. So all my Japanese listeners and followers, shout out to you. And I know you're probably quite well aware of TAMTAM. And if you're not, I definitely should check it out ASAP. But to everybody else as well, this is definitely you should be looking into. It's available on record, but you know, you can also find it on the digital streams as well. Your usual suspects, Spotify, Apple Music, you name it. So you have no excuses. Please listen to this album. Great album. So next up on this list, we've got a record which I'm so happy to have finally in the collection. A nice big green check mark against this record. And what we have here is a 12-inch record by a group called Ocean. Now this is a UK street soul release that was released in 1988 and was originally released on a label called Baseline Records, which back in the day, late 80s and early 90s, were quite known for having some street soul releases, but also acid jazz. But anyway, this record here is quite a rare one, and it's not extremely rare. I think you can particularly find a copy, but doesn't come around too often, put it that way. And it's the reason why it's been on my want list for quite some time. But yeah, Ocean is a 4-piece group, and you got the leading vocalist here, goes by Betty Semper, and we also got some other band members as well. But this is a really nice tune, man. Really great record with a title track called You Are Be Mine, which is on the A side. And this is what we're all about here on the A side. It's a really good down-tempo track with nice bass, nice instrumentation across the board. It's just so good. And this is what street soul's about for me, you know. It's just one of those good pieces which you really appreciate and makes you it just makes you want more. But yeah, it's something that's been on my list for quite some time, and I'm so happy now it's finally here. It's finally here. But yeah, this is great, man. And I'm quite nice. I've got the nice 12-inch white label as well. I think the original release, there's official version with a sleeve as well that you can get, with a printed sleeve, which is quite hard to get hold of. And I think this record is becoming a lot more rare now. It's becoming quite hard to find and get hold of. But yeah, really proud to have this in collection and quite ready to play this out when the summer comes round.
You're what takes my breath away. You're my summer. Well, you know that, don't you? You are what takes my breath away. You know I want you.
Okay, next up, keeping it moving quite here swiftly, we have another release which is from the past, which is a nice little dig as well. A nice little 7-inch 45. By a guy called Mike Olton with a track called Flavours. Now, what's funny about this is that I didn't pick this up recently. I've actually had this in my collection for a while. But the truth be told is that when I first got this record, it was actually warped. And it was warped badly as well, like really badly. And I just haven't played it. I haven't played it at all. It's one of those things, I just kind of left it in the collection, and I obviously tried to save the record as well by trying flattening it and try to get rid of the warps. A year and a half later, or it could be close to 2 years, it's crazy. But now I'm listening to this record and it sounds great. There's no more warp. It's excellent. To summarize this is a release in 1986 on a label called UK Sunshine. And like I said before, with an A side we got Favourite Flavours. On the B side we got Love's a Gamble as well. But for here, I think that's all I'm going to be all about the A side. So to describe it, it's like synth pop, I would say. It's got a brick funk feel to it, definitely. Sometimes a little bit of new wave. It's a mixture of different things. But I think what's quite nice about this, there's a nice groove and melody to this, definitely. It just has a little bit of edge of being like a street soul record sometimes as well. Yeah, I come to realize as well that when just doing a general check online, this is not documented at all. I think it's available on Discogs and places like that, but generally speaking, when you want to hear the audio of it, it doesn't exist. And for the treat for you all here on the channel, what I'm going to do is give you a little snippet of this record because I think it's worth having a little listen to. yeah, it's an interesting piece, this record, because it's one of those things where when you get the record, it's got things like, it's got a label on the front saying reaction and with a phone number. So it's almost just like, do I contact that number to show like what I think about the record? It's got that traditional sense of like private press, one of one kind of thing. The label must have not output anything else. Just one of those many British releases during that era which remain underground, never see the light of day. What I might do as well, I think I might get round to actually putting this whole track on the channel as well, so you can hear it in full. And yeah, so look forward to that. So yeah, overall, I think this is a nice little 45, a nice little rare 7-inch record. And it's one of those things, when you do the classic like Discog check, just to see like where you stand amongst this, it's like a standard just realize that copies are surfacing, but they're coming with a price tag as well. So I think people are catching on to this. But yeah, Mike Olton, favorite Flavours. Nice record. Okay, the next one we're going to get into right here, it's been something I've been enjoying a lot recently. Another one of those things where I'm listening to it pretty much on a daily basis. This one is actually not available on record as it stands at the moment at the time of recording this, but this is available on the digital streams, but it's also available on limited cassette. So what I'm talking about here is a release by Mobley with an album called Meditations. Man, this album is it's amazing. It's so good. And just to give you context of what this is, so what we have here is an album which is almost, you could say, on the minimalist side. It's an instrumental album. But what's been done here, he's recorded the album through a Tascam 4-track cassette recorder. So you got a natural like lo-fi feel to it, which he predominantly focused on playing the guitar. And he's a very talented musician at hand when it comes to the guitar as well. But you also got that nice kind of laid-back feel to it. A lot of nice like synth soul, you could say at times. And it's really good. I can't stress it enough. You know, I want to give a big shout out as well to the label Sequel Records who released this nice little release. I do need to get my hand on a cassette. I think pretty much at the moment, you still probably can get it directly from Sequel Records yourself if you want to check out their Bandcamp. But I've definitely realized that places where I would sometimes check out for new releases are sold out an item already. So this is definitely going to be one, don't sleep. But fear not, like myself, I've been enjoying it through the streams. So definitely check this out. And one of the things I do want to highlight here, he does a fantastic effort where he makes obviously a lot of his own original music and original melodies and arrangements, but he does do a really nice finishing touch to the album with a track called Pistachios, which is actually a cover of a Snoop Dogg release that came out quite a while ago now off the album called The Last Meal, which some of you might be familiar with. And there's a particular track on that album called Stacey Adams, which was produced by Battle Cat. It has an amazing melody and amazing arrangement, which he's taking it and making it his own, which is so good. I can't stress it enough. This album is fantastic and is easily gonna probably end up on my final end of the year list for 2024. But I think as an album, you should definitely check out and listen to it in your own time. It's really good. I recommend listening to it late at night when you're chilling out. Or if you're sometimes like me, you put it on the car when you need a little cruise, doing a little journey, places that you go to within the week, whatever. It's just one of those things that you could just check on and it just works every time. But yeah, big shout out to Mobley for this one. It's really good. A really talented musician coming out of France, which I think definitely a person to keep your eye on throughout this year. I sense that there's some other good releases to come, and this Meditations album is just a start to what's to come. And that's the end of the video. So I hope you've enjoyed it. It's been nice to go through some selections, some from the past, some new, some old discoveries that I'm finally got in the collection, a little bit of everything. So yeah, I'm hoping to do this video once a month to share some insight for you all. And if you enjoyed the video, please give the video a thumbs up. And if there's anything you particularly liked or anything else you want to share related to this video, please leave a comment down below. But anyway, hope you enjoyed it. Speak soon. スタジオファンク